Chris, we got wines and wagers. We got to move
Oh,
on to the next game here.
whoa! I did not get the heads up that we're doing wines and wagers this week. Maybe next week, Adam, you can let me know, and I'll get.
You know when your wife is breastfeeding and she can't drink as much wine as she usually can, and there's a little bit left. There's a little bit left in the bottle, and you don't want to save that. And you take a look at it before your show starts, and you're like, "Well, I guess I got to finish this off." So
You're
that's
just
why
doing
it's
your
wine and
part.
wagers here.
Nice, you're doing your part. I love it.
So yeah, Chelsea, Liverpool. Chelsea are at home. One of these intriguing teams that we don't have a ton of information on under Pochettino. So that's going to make this one a little bit interesting to talk about. But we got Chelsea plus 190 to beat Liverpool at home. Liverpool are plus 135 to win. So Liverpool slight favorites. We got maybe not surprisingly over 2.5 goals is minus 155. Under 2.5 goals is plus 125. If you want over 3.5 goals, that's plus 165 here. So we got the Caicedo news that may happen for the weekend, but he's not going to be playing for him, so we don't got to worry about that. We have Chelsea's situation where they're trying to get another defensive midfielder here because they're also in the race for Caicedo. I wonder if Caicedo is just like, whoever wins this opening match, I'm going to go there. That might be kind of dumb considering Chelsea are at home, but it would be funny if he did something like that. But for now, Conor Gallagher, placeholder here, defensive midfield next to Enzo Fernandez. We know about Nkuku's injury. We could see Chukwuemeka in the starting 11. He was getting a lot of time in the preseason. Nicholas Jackson seems like he's going to be their number 9 for this season, I guess, and going forward. Mudryk in there, Sterling in there, a couple known faces due to the Nkuku injury. So the back line, no big changes. Colwell comes back from loan from Brighton. Now we got Liverpool. We do have questions with Liverpool. We don't have Darwin in the starting 11. We don't have Luis Diaz in the starting 11. Both those guys could start. We'll see how it turns out. But I think a big question here for Liverpool and for this matchup will be who does Jurgen Klopp start in his midfield? Because there's a reason they're getting Caicedo. We talked about it in the future show. They need just a standout defensive midfielder who's going to hold things together kind of in the middle. And they're not going to have that for this match. So who do you think is going to start in this midfield, and how big of a factor is it going to be in terms of, just Liverpool trying to get this win at plus 135?
I think you've got it right here as far as midfielders go. Curtis Jones probably going to play that holding midfield, and then you got McAllister and Szoboszlai playing up top, kind of in those 10 roles, like the Henderson and the, I guess Curtis Jones played a little more advanced towards the tail end of last season. But I think that's what we're going to see. They don't really have that many other options as a holding midfielder. Bajcetic is hurt. Thiago, I don't think he's going to make it back either. So they're pretty limited in what they can play there. That said, I would, look at the lineup, maybe Diaz over Diogo Jota, just because I think he's probably, him and Salah are their most dynamic attackers in terms of being able to beat players one-on-one and score themselves, whereas Diogo Jota is more like I think he can be, credit to him, he can beat players one-on-one, but I think he's maybe not quite on the same level as Salah and Diaz. But yeah, this is a tough one. Going to be tough to go into Stamford Bridge to open the season against a side that's kind of reloaded. I'm Nicholas Jackson. I only saw some highlights of him in preseason, but the ones that I did see, he looked really good, really smooth, laying off passes for goals, scoring goals himself. This Chelsea team, everybody knows, has seen a ton of investment, so it's not like the quality of players isn't there. It's been, the question marks have been, sometimes the desire in the organization from the manager. They've got a top tier manager now, and I think he's probably looking back at Frank Lampard and some of the other options they've had, probably better. I mean, poor little out for Graham Potter. Unfortunate how things work for him because I'm a big fan of him. But I think Pochettino, he's shown that he's up there in the conversation with Pep and Klopp and some of the top tier, Ancelotti at Real, some of the top tier managers. So I do think, looking at this game specifically from a betting perspective, I do want to support another under 2.5 bet here. It's at plus 125. You look back at Chelsea and Liverpool over the past couple seasons. Last year they had, you could have went out and watched paint dry and it would have been a better match to watch in both their matchups. It was 0-0 in both the home and away matches. It was brutal. It's not like they were like good matches, good 0-0 draws. They weren't. They were poor. And then prior to that, it was they played in the 2 League Cup final, or the FA Cup final and the League Cup final, both 0-0. So last 4 matches it's been 0-0. You look the preseason, another preseason, I guess, note is how poor the Liverpool back line has been. They've been shipping goals to Darmstadt, a couple other kind of teams that you wouldn't expect. I mean, they gave up 4 to Bayern, but at the end of the day,
Bayern Munich without Harry Kane, like, come on.
At the end of the day, it is preseason. The stakes are lower. They're trying to organizational things. They're trying to see who starts, what systems they work. They're playing 11 guys in the first half and 11 guys in the second half. You would like a little bit more consistency, obviously, but I do think that they'll step up a bit here as the season kicks off. And it's not like we haven't seen, Virgil van Dijk, Andrew Robertson, Konate, and Alexander Arnold play well as a back line. So it's not like, giving up 4 goals to Bayern in one of their last games is going to lead me to believe that this is going to be a 4-4 thriller. It would be fun for us as the viewer, but I still think that it's going to be under 2.5 goals. And as a little side bet here, as an additional bet, an add-on for the listeners, Mo Salah plus 160 anytime goal scorer. He loves a goal against the top 4, or top sides, I guess you could say.
Top 4. Whoa.
Chelsea maybe not even, what was they, top 8 last year?
No, they were 12th.
12th, yeah. So
he does love below Crystal Palace.
You're right.
I gave a shout to be relegated this season.
Well, one London team spent, £100 million plus. Another team hasn't bought a player yet this summer.
Yeah, it is an interesting bet given some of these Liverpool results, but you look at the history, you look at Chelsea, who have been. I mean, again, we're talking about these preseason games because there's not much else to talk about. We could just say random stuff about players, but these results at least is something to talk about here. Chelsea had success in the United States on their trails, and their defense was better. They've been playing more sound under Pochettino. And I mean, you mentioned the Liverpool back line. It's all the same guys here, but Chelsea's back line is also healthy. Chilwell, James, I don't know how many times they played together last season, but it wasn't many. Thiago Silva, he's a constant. Levi Colwill is new, but there's a chance he's not even starting. So we'll see here with how Chelsea perform. It's interesting. Under 2.5 is, you get in the plus 125 on it. It just seems like a hard bet to take with Liverpool here, but how many goals do we think Chelsea are going to score in this opener? I guess that's kind of where we're coming at. Are they going to come out? Is Pochettino's Chelsea going to score 3 goals in the opener? I don't know. It seems like a tough bet. So I'm kind of with you here. My bet is a little more confusing, but this is the only time I had to explain this bet 20 times last season. So I got a plus 0.25 bet here. So this is what I'm taking. Chelsea plus 0.25 corners in the first half at minus 110. So this bet means if Chelsea get more corners than Liverpool, you win your bet. If they finish with the same amount of corners, you get half of your. Oh my gosh. I think I got it. You get half your money back, but I feel like you also get half your money back if they lose by 1. You know what? Just forget I said that. Either way, I think Chelsea are Chelsea. You're looking at this situation here, and we're talking about this Liverpool midfield. So why do we think that Liverpool's midfield is going to be enough to control this match away from home in this situation? And usually when a team controls the midfield, they kind of control the corners, that kind of thing. And people will look at Liverpool and be like, oh, TAA, oh, Salah. Okay, yeah, we'll bet corners on them. Szoboszlai, okay, yeah, those guys take a lot of corners, but they also cross it a bunch from open play. But I just think that early in this game, I think it's just going to be pretty even. I don't think there's going to be an edge for either side. And I think that Chelsea, there's value here in taking Chelsea plus 0.25 corners in the first half, plus or minus 110 here. I'm not going to ask you.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting.
We've done this bet quite a bit, or Adam's done this bet quite a bit. I think that I understand it, and it makes sense to me every time he does it. But then, and you obviously understand it too. But then when we get to talking about it, what we need is like one of those beautiful little.
I just confused myself.
We need a little graphic that says, this happens, like one of those bar graphs or like organizational org charts where it says like this happens, go down. This doesn't happen, go up. Type of deal. We'll slap it on the YouTube page, but
the half money is the tough part.
Yeah, back to your bet though. Do we think we think Chelsea's? I guess they're going to start Gallagher and Fernandez in the middle there to try to control things. I mean, these two teams typically they play. Have similar qualities. Could be a pretty 50-50 match. I don't see like Liverpool going out and having like 60-40 possession against the Chelsea side unless Poch has that counter-attacking style. They both, so I guess this is kind of a 50-50 bet for me. I don't, do I think Chelsea's going to have more corners in the first half? We'll see, but it's a kind of a toss-up.
Even if they have the same amount, then you get half your money back. Yes.
That's how I'm understanding it, Adam.
That's correct. All right, that was again. Chris took under 2.5 goals at plus 125, and I took Chelsea plus 0.25 corners in the first half. That is minus 110.